Hey, what's going on everybody? In this video, I just want to talk about improvements that I've made to my dividend tracking Google Sheet. So it's on version 3 now. If you've been watching my videos previously, all of the videos would have been on version 2.1 or lower. And yeah, I've spent the last week making tons of upgrades and they're all available now. So you can get this spreadsheet in a link in the description below. And otherwise, if you've already downloaded the sheet, then the upgrades are available to you for free as well. It's just a little bit of copy and pasting that you have to do to basically go from your old version into the new version, but it's pretty straightforward. So the way I've been investing, if you've been following the videos, is I've only been buying stocks on the Canadian stock market and the Toronto Stock Exchange. And so my whole portfolio was just in Canadian dollars, and all of my stocks were in Canadian dollars, all of the dividends were in Canadian. And that was working for me. But there's a bunch of people that have also downloaded this sheet, and you guys are buying US stocks, you're holding US cash, you're trading money between accounts, you're getting paid in US dividends, and it's a huge mess. And the sheet was never designed for that in the beginning, but now it is. So I think I've covered every possible combination of what can go on, and I'm pretty happy with how it's looking so far. So the biggest change you'll see on the summary page here is now we have basically a summary for Canadian dollars, a summary for US dollars. Like I said, I don't have anything in US dollars in my account right now. And then we have the equivalent, so we can set this to the Canadian dollar equivalent or the US dollar equivalent. Also notice when we change that, the dividend gets updated here. Right now it's displaying Canadian dollar dividends equivalent, and then now it's displaying the equivalent in US dollars. So if you're receiving dividends in Canadian dollars and US dollars, they're all just going to get displayed here together as a single equivalent price, and you can switch back and forth between the two. I also found myself while I was making these upgrades that I was always trying to check the currency, the current exchange rate. So I have the exchange rate right here, and if you just want to check something like what is 1,000 US dollars in Canadian, it'll just display here. And same, you can go the other way with 1,000 Canadian in US dollars. That's just for reference. Only change the stuff that's in the blue cells because the rest is basically formulas that all the sheet is working with. So yeah, you can properly account for US stocks in this spreadsheet now. And what you can also do is you can account for US dollar cash. So there is an item here for cash, and I'll get into that in a second. But basically some brokers, like Questrade for example, you can just move money between currencies. Like you can take like 100 Canadian dollars and then you can exchange that for like 75 US or whatever, and it's going to pay a fee. And then we'll be able to account for that because then in Questrade you'll be using the US cash to buy and sell stocks. Versus in something like Wealthsimple Trade, even if I had US stocks, I would never have cash because you only ever hold Canadian dollar cash, and that's accounted for too. So this spreadsheet works if you're using Wealthsimple Trade or Questrade or pretty much any other broker that you want to be using, but I'm not sure why, because other ones are more expensive. Now, that was a huge pain because obviously like I'm just trying to make a spreadsheet for myself, and I was just keeping my own thing simple. But I've just realized, yeah, like everyone is doing completely different things and has different needs. And so I'm pretty sure this is going to work for everybody because I have put in a crazy amount of testing to this, trying to find every possible bug. There was also someone that was requesting more sectors. And so what I've done here on the portfolio is basically right now the drop down, these are like the 11 sectors that you'll find on Investopedia or basically any financial website. But if for some reason you want more, like you want to split out things like renewable energy or cannabis or whatever it is, I've made that possible as well. And so all you just need to do is come down here to these numbers that control the above charts, and there's space to add in more information here. So you can write something here like hello, and then when you go into your portfolio and you select, you can see here it's one of the options now. And if you set that, then when we come back to the summary, we're going to actually have one here now for hello. So let's actually take that out before I forget. Let's go back here and set that back to utilities and come back to the summary page. And I don't want that showing up as an option for me, but of course, go nuts with it if you want. Okay, so let's move into the portfolio because there's been changes in here as well for the better. Now, because we're properly displaying Canadian and US stocks, there is a column here for the current value of all of the Canadian positions. There's a value for the current value of all the US positions. So again, I don't have any US positions right now, but it's there and ready to go. There's also a new column here for currency based on the stock price. If it is a US stock, for example, like something on the NASDAQ, so like this, it's going to automatically detect that it's an American stock and it'll display in US dollars. And then everything, all of the dollar signs in this row will be in the currency relating to the actual stock. So this would be the price in US dollars, whereas this is the price here in Canadian dollars. So same, that will be in US dollars and Canadian dollars appropriate to the stock. And then here in the percent of holdings, it's just normalized to one of the currencies. So the exchange is taken into consideration when we're looking at the pie chart. There also used to be a column here for average buy price and average sell price, but I've just put them into a single column for average price. Before, it was actually kind of calculating the total gain and loss a little bit incorrectly because it was only based on the buy price. So it would incorporate the value of all the stocks that you ever bought, which was incorrect. If you're not selling stocks all the time, it wasn't a big deal. But basically now when you sell a stock, that gets reflected here, and this will display exactly the same as what your broker is displaying to you, so there's no more errors there. To be honest, this was one of the biggest pains. It was not super straightforward to set up in a spreadsheet, well, at least with the way that the spreadsheet is shaped. It would be much better for like an actual programming language, but given that this is Google Sheets, I found a way to work around it, so it's going to work for everyone. Moving on to the next tab in our Sparklines tab here, there's only one small improvement here that I made, is that the tickers will actually work for multiple markets now. For example, before they were only working for the Toronto Stock Exchange, but if you type in something here, like NASDAQ Sundial, now it will also recognize that. Again, minor detail, you might have never even noticed that, but now this will work for the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, Toronto Stock Exchange, and the the TSX Venture Exchange as well. And let's just set this back to something that's actually in the account. And yeah, there we go. I think Google Finance is just going a little slow today on some of these values, but that's okay. That'll come back. So yeah, moving into the Transactions tab. So I've changed a little bit, I think 3 columns in here. Now, to accommodate the average price in the portfolio, there just needs to be some record of what the average price was when the stocks were sold. And so here, when you come in and you sell a stock, for example, I sold some stocks here, you just go to the Portfolio tab, find the stock that you're selling, Severia, and at the time when I did the transaction, it was $13.90, and so you just come back in here, drop in $13.90, and then proceed, and then it'll display properly. If you have any issues with this, just leave a comment on the video, and I can help you through it if you're using this sheet. And then I also put in a column here for trading fee, because I'm using Wealthsimple Trade as well, so I didn't really need this column for myself. But if you're using Questrade or something, you're going to be paying like $4.99 Canadian dollars. Or if you're using another app, for some reason, if you're using an American app and your trading fees are in US dollars, then set that to US dollars. But if you're using a Canadian one, the trading fees will get billed in Canadian dollars. And this is important because if you buy a US stock with Questrade, then you're going to be using US dollars for the transaction, but you'll still pay the $4.99 Canadian fee. So that will get taken out of your balance, and then you also have to select what was the actual currency you bought or received. So with me using Wealthsimple Trade, because I don't hold US dollars cash, it's not possible. I'm always going to be using Canadian dollars. And there's an example down here. I did a quick test. I just bought 2 stocks and then sold them right away for these ones on the NASDAQ. And they are US dollar stocks, but I paid Canadian for them. So just watch out for that. And this is just basically another thing that's going to make sure it's working for everyone, no matter which type of broker you're using, if you want to be tracking with this sheet. Okay, so the next thing is in deposits and withdrawals. I just added 1 column here for the currency that you actually deposit or withdraw. I'm pretty sure most people that are using this sheet are Canadian and just depositing Canadian dollars. But for some reason, if you're able to take US dollars from your bank account and put it into your brokerage account or your trading app in US dollars, then that will work here as well. If you do that, it's just going to show up. It'll be accounted for here as US dollars that's in your account until you spend it. And then also in the dividends page, just have one thing here for the currency of a dividend, because I know it is possible for like a Canadian stock to pay a US dollar dividend or a US stock to pay a Canadian. I don't think that would ever happen, but it has happened before at some point in time where the stock price and the dividend didn't match. So for some reason, if you get paid in like a US dollar dividend, just click that here, and then it will correctly sum everything else throughout the rest of the spreadsheet. And then what other pages do we have here? Oh yeah, there's one here for convert money. This is a new tab, and this is just for the people who are using something like Questrade. So for example, I have $278 Canadian in my account. And if I was using Questrade or something like that where I could just convert money to get cash, let's say I put in 250, we exchange 250 Canadian dollars, and if we get back something like 200 in US, then that would show up properly in our in our summary page, that now we have less Canadian dollars and more US dollars. When you're doing that, you don't need to break out the fee as well. The fee is just incorporated in this, how much exactly Canadian you got and how much US you got. And you can do the exact same trade, how much US you're giving and how much Canadian you're getting back. I've tested about every possible combination of depositing money, withdrawing money, trading different amounts of balances, buying and selling stocks, and I'm quite sure this all works properly. So if there are any issues, just again let me know and I'll make sure to fix them up. But as far as I know, everything here is finally working completely properly for all conditions. And then here in splits, I added a column just for cash adjustments in US dollars. Don't worry about this stuff unless you actually have a stock split. And then you can come in here and just follow the notes along the top on what to do. Extra sparklines, these guys still work just exactly the same. And the watch list is basically the same. It's just there for you to use if you want. So yeah, guys, anyways, if you like this Google Sheet, there's a link in the description where you can get it. Yeah, there's quite a few people using it now, and that's really awesome to see. And I hope with this upgrade that more people can use it, because now it's really working for both currencies and set up to work more easily with like any different kind of trading app or broker. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. And in a couple days, I'll be doing another update on my dividend portfolio, and hopefully I see you there.